15% of the world's population is classified as non-religious. Of the 85% that is considered religious, 70% of them all come from 4 religions. Can you guess what they are? Hinduism, Buddhism, Christianity, and Islam. 15% belong to the other religions, such as Judaism, Jainism, Sikhism, Taoism, Confucianism, and Shinto, to be the ones that have the largest segment of what we would maybe consider the minor religions. But it begs the question, what's a religion? Is it something like this? People pray into something that would be a god, people making offerings to that god, and in this case, just offering back what they consider their god to have already given them. French fries, here in this image. But what traits should be present for a religion to be considered a religion? Is it prayer, giving to a god, offerings, sacrifices? I don't know. Does every religion actually have a god or gods? Does every religion actually have a view of an afterlife? What about a moral code? Does every religion offer some set of rules that must be followed and adhered to? Or a sense of the other, meaning something outside of nature, so something supernatural. Does every religion have that? And prayer. Does every religion actually have prayer? And if you haven't studied the world's religions much, you may think all of these would be traits found within something considered a religion, hence getting a slide like this one. But in reality, every religion doesn't have a god. Every religion doesn't have an afterlife. Some religions aren't necessarily even built around a moral code, and if they do have a moral code, it's not central to it. Could just be more optional. And definitely every religion doesn't have prayer or a sense of the supernatural. Most do, but not all. To confound things even more, things that are generally considered secular sometimes have a religious overtone or religious view, especially if you're an outsider with no understanding of what exactly is going on in that secular practice. Consider, for example, American football. Someone who is completely unaware of American football whatsoever gets dumped into the stadium and sees what goes on a stadium on a Saturday for colleges in this picture, or Sunday for the pros, and they may think this is religious. They're painting their bodies, they're raising their hands, they're cheering, they're clapping. Their life completely revolves around their team. If it's not football season, life is miserable. When it is football season, life is miserable if their team is not doing well, and if their team is doing well, hallelujah, praise Jesus, praise whatever team you're following, right? I actually have a friend who's a huge LSU fan. His home is essentially a shrine to LSU. The walls are painted purple and gold, and every single room has all sorts of pictures and items and memorabilia for LSU. He could literally probably go 2 whole weeks without washing any of his clothes and be able to wear a new set of LSU pants and shirts for 2 whole weeks. It's pretty amazing. Could that be considered religious? They also even have their own songs and their own chants. So this is really getting into things that we would find within religion, specific dress, specific songs, rituals even that go along with following a sports team. What about this? Could this be considered religious or non-religious? They're actually, what's that they're holding? Mao's little red book. It's almost like the Bible for Chinese communism. Religious or not, you decide. What about this one? Do we ever have cult of personalities, which could be considered religious? That is why they're called cults, right? I don't know if there ever was something called the cult of Michael Jackson, but when he died, it certainly seemed as if as if some people's gods died. Literally, people were like, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life now that Michael Jackson is no longer with us. I know Elvis had what was called the cult of Elvis. People that basically lived their entire lives on following the life and times of Elvis Presley. And again, when he died, their lives were in shambles and falling apart. Their entire life was built upon Elvis. And so when we have secular things like this, which for all intensive purposes are religious for many people, it makes defining what a religion is that much more difficult. So I'm going to leave you with that question as a discussion question. What is a religion? How would you define it, considering that they're so diverse and that things within secular culture sometimes mirror what would typically be considered something which is sacred or religious?